do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, do-da, day.
Hiya, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. We did have a short Stupid O'Clock tonight. The reason it was only an hour instead of its normal 2 hours was because Joe Dog is trying a new thing and streaming to, I think, Instagram, which only allows a 1 hour show. So rather than end that Instagram stream and continue on, he decided we'd just do 1 hour. But, this is Last Man Standing. So unless I go to sleep in the middle of the show, who knows how long it'll last. With me tonight, got Thesis, got Aunt Donna, got Joe Bachman, and Dawn is probably lurking around somewhere, packing, getting ready for StompCon. So she may or may not put in an appearance, or she may or may not pop into the room without her camera turned on, so she can still keep packing while she talks to us. Or Ted may be going, time for me to go to bed. Never know.
Yes, StopCon. If you're in the Fowler, Indiana area, this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. and going to whenever, both Joe Bachman and I will be there. Thesis will be represented by Don, so you can see his works. And, that fellow that is running the show will also be represented by Don. It's the best I could do.
Okay, I'm just wondering whether or not Nick was actually going to show up at his own show.
They're probably getting ready. I think Manda told Don they had to be there at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Woo! Well, it's what, 2 hour trip for Dawn to get there, so
2.5.
Like
2.5 is it's 2 hours to our place.
So she probably will not be hanging out either in the chat or popping in live.
Yeah.
Who knows with that girl?
I
Really?
know.
I know Nick said that the vendors will have 2 hours in the morning to set up everything Saturday morning, which is probably when, I'm assuming, when we're going to set up, or when the wife's going to set up. I won't have a booth. I will be down there to help with running BSR and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, Witzman dude says Dawn's staying in Indiana tomorrow night, but she has to be there tomorrow to help Manda do
Yeah.
stuff.
Hey.
So vendors have to be there at 8 a.m. Eastern time, Joe?
On Saturday,
Yeah.
vendors can get there as early as 8, if I remember correctly.
So if I come in at noon, that'll be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we weren't planning on vending, but somebody backed out, and
Hey.
we're coming to help Nick.
Just be prepared to make several trips out to the van to unpack more books as they sell.
Oh, no. I don't carry that many books with me. Once they're gone, you're out of luck, honey.
Carl says we will get there when we get there. That sounds like a very forceful statement there.
Well, you remember he's also got to deal with Aunt Donna in the morning, and Aunt Donna. Well,
doesn't do mornings.
Let me put it this way: a friend gave me a button, not only once but twice, the same button that says "Not a morning person," does not even begin to describe me.
Okay.
Well, I was told earlier this evening that my wife has got her alarm clock set for, I think, either quarter till or quarter after 7 a.m. local time. She has an optometrist appointment sometime around 9 or 10, and we need to be leaving the house around 9 in order to get her there on time. So I don't know exactly when the appointment is.
Well,
I've got
you
a
usually have to be there 15 minutes earlier than the appointment to get all the crap done.
Well, yeah, but I don't have to sit around for that. I will be with a shopping cart wandering around the rest of Walmart at the time. I have a page and a half long shopping list, and there's only 2 items of food on it. Well, 3 if you count the cat food and dog food, but I generally don't. Oh, that reminds me. I've got to put the cat treats on the list because Billy No Mates is always coming back here begging for food after he's emptied the bowl in the kitchen.
Now that he's got his headphones off, looks like Joe has joined the Witzman dude's head style.
Not completely, but
Yeah, it was really close there.
Hey, if that's what somebody wants to do, that's what somebody wants to do.
I guess so.
I am not casting asparagus on anybody.
Hello, Joe.
Howdy!
She gets that innocent smile on her face.
Yeah, that scares the unholy hell out of me.
That's all right. You'll just have to watch the recording. Make a note of the timestamp.
Just shy of 10 minutes in. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh. Yep. I've got all kinds of things on the shopping list. Personal grooming stuff for me. because I have worn out another set of fingernail clippers. I do not know how. It's not like I'm cutting wires with the damn thing. It's just my fingernails. Um,
Very thick and healthy.
it's like every hour. I've got. It's like I'm part werewolf or something here. You can watch them grow. Uh, oh, it's like one of the transformations from one of the black and white horror movies. I swear, it's
Well, you are
scary.
the old Appalachian god.
But uh, no, Carl. I'm not impervious to clippers. I just wear them out very quickly. When I was a child, a pair of fingernail clippers lasted forever until it got rusty. Nowadays, it's like they're making them out of aluminum instead of steel. They get dull really quick. No kidding. I'm just cutting my fingernails. I swear. Uh, uh, I don't know what it is. I really don't. And I've also got. Um, I will have to have my wife with me to pick out the brand of paint she wants to use on the porch because she named some specific brand. And I'm going, if I get anything else, I'm
You
going
gonna
to
be
have to
in
build a
trouble.
doghouse because I will be in it. Um, and
Well, you do
some,
have that roofed pergola you could stay in overnight.
well, it's roofed. It doesn't have any walls. Um,
At least it has a roof.
well, kind of. Uh, I need to repair that. The cheap clear plastic roofing that we put on it that was so good at allowing sunlight to come in and just burn me alive while I'm standing in front of a hot barbecue grill. Uh, Finally has succumbed to the elements and needs to be stripped off and I'll, it'll be easy to dispose of. It's probably going to just crumble in my hands. But this time I've got her assurance that I will be allowed to spend money on something a little bit more durable. I don't want tin, um, but then again, that'll last the longest. I just don't know.
Have you seen those new metal roofs that they have? The Witzman dude would know what it's called. The friend of ours has it on her house.
Mm,
They are
I have
really cool.
I have seen those, and I have sincerely thought about it because I'd only need about 5 6 foot long panels. I'd probably have to get the 8 foot long ones, but uh,
Uh
take
oh.
the snips to it. Ah,
Witzman dude's trying to get you in trouble.
um, no, Carl, that is not the argument I choose to use. The argument I choose to use is, look, I've done it your way the last 4 times. This time I'm going to do it the way Daddy would approve of. Don't touch my wallet. I'm going to be fanning it around a little bit. Uh, no, that's the nice thing about my dad was he would try something the inexpensive way first just to see how long it would last. And not in home repair or anything like that. He always went first class with that every time. It was a professional job. But for, say, farming equipment or whatever, repairing same, he'd try the cheap way. Hey, you don't know what poverty is until you have to wear until you have to weld plowshares together in order to save money.
I'm sorry, the Witzman dude is really wanting to get you in trouble.
Is Carl on your life insurance policy, Dan? Like, does he get a cut when you pass or something?
No kidding.
I'm wondering if Lindsay didn't add him to it.
Trying to get you stabbed over here.
Oh no, she's English. I'd get poisoned.
Fair.
They have traditions.
We must keep traditions.
All I can think of is arsenic and old lace.
Great movie.
I was actually in that play in a junior high school.
And I realize there's probably not many people my age that actually would get that reference too. So,
well, what's more frightening is I played both dead bodies that appear on stage in the play. And I got applause for being so unlifelike. I mean, they could tell that it was not a stuffed dummy or taxidermist or anything like that. It was definitely let's call it dead weight. And they got somebody Richie size to play the brother that carried them around. And he's going, damn, dude, you're heavy. And I'm going, I can't be. I'm only 5'3", 120 pounds soaking wet. It's just that I was supposed to be dead. I went completely limp rather than trying to pretend to be rigor mortis. So, there was one part where the last night after we'd already been doing it 3 nights in a row, he went over, raised the window seat lid where I was lying in there and just going, he slammed it back down. Nope, not touching that one yet. Totally ad-libbing. That was not in the script. Oh. Yes, folks, I was briefly one of those theater students.
I already did pep band and pep band. They couldn't get me into theater.
They tried to get me in, let's see, I was already in the band. This was junior high school, so you didn't have a choice. Pep band, whatever, it was band. You got a grade on it. You had your instrument. Didn't have to go march anywhere because it was way to junior high school. I don't think anybody went. I don't think the football team went to the games, much less the band. They got me into the chorus and told me I was a tenor. And that didn't go anywhere because my family moved away and then moved back. I had to go with them. They didn't leave me behind or anything.
It's not like they tried to.
It's not like they tried to dump me because somebody was trying to make me sing hymns or whatever, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Donna.
I was in 2 plays in high school. One I was a librarian in Up the Down Staircase, which that was kind of cool. But the other one I was one of the leads, and I wish I could remember the name of that play. It's about 2 doddering old ladies, and I had a pretty long monologue with my dead fiance. It was fun.
I was in band from 5th grade all the way through my senior year. Played the trombone the whole time. Did choir in junior high. And when I got to high school, the band teacher, who was also the choir teacher, oh, you want to do choir? Nope. I'm good.
Yeah.
I said, you already deal with me once a day. Do you really want to have to deal with me twice a day?
Today.
She's like, considering choices, I'd take you over some of the others. I'm like, yeah, still no.
Foxy was in band a couple of years. Never was any good. I find that difficult to believe. Crippling anxiety makes it hard to play an instrument when you shake.
I can understand
And,
why that would make her not any good. It's not not her ability, but
yeah. And trying to get her to do a solo, that didn't work.
So I played the organ, so I mean there's no place for me in band. And like Foxy, I did 10 years of dance. I did jazz, ballet, baton. I performed at the state fair for 3 years.
See, you would have fit in perfectly with our high school then, because if you can play organ, you could, should be able to play piano. I'm assuming.
I used to play piano by ear, and then I learned to read music for the organ, and I lost all my ability to play piano.
Yeah.
My freshman year, our pep band, we had a drummer, 3 guitarists, a bass guitarist, a kid on cowbell, who was actually the backup drummer in case, he was one of the backup guitarists in case one of them couldn't make it. One of our English teachers played piano that was hooked up, an electric piano that was hooked up to an amp. The band teacher played trumpet along with one of the seniors, and that senior actually got a technical called on us during one of the games. I was on trombone. We had a tuba, and then a smattering of saxophone, flute, and clarinet. Half of those girls were also cheerleaders, which made it really interesting for halftime because they'd go out and do their little cheers and stuff. And as soon as they were done, they had to run up the bleachers and grab their instrument to start playing. And Mrs. Kent would always yell out the song so they at least knew what page to try and, get to.
Mm.
But, yeah, that was, we got a technical, well, technically Tommy got the technical called on him for blaring the Final Jeopardy 30-second song. He was loud enough on his trumpet, he could not only play that in tune, but both teams could not hear each other talk, and they were across the court from us. Yeah. It was one of those, normally the home team gets some, slight advantage from the refs. Now, our guys are getting straight up fouled, like blatant fouls, and there's no whistle. We so much as breathe in their general direction. It's like, oh, foul.
Nope. I've been playing trumpet since about 4th grade, 5th grade, something around in there. And then my sophomore year in high school, the band director said, I'm sorry, this is not a movie. We do not need 76 trumpets. We've only got one French horn player. Some of you guys are going to have to swap over to new instruments. And I and another trumpet player got shifted over to French horn, which was fine. A little bit heavier to carry, but made a lot of noise.
So, oh God, was my junior year? I think it was my junior year. Yeah, it was junior year because Natalia was still in band. Natalia DeFrank, she was in my wife's class. She also played trombone. I had played trombone with her all the way through junior high and most of high school. And she was a far better player than I was, yet somehow they always made me first chair and not her. So we would always, the band teacher would hand out the music. I'd look at it and go, there ain't no way in hell I'm hitting that high of a note. Here you go, Natalia. And we'd trade music.
Mhm. We had one saxophone player. Don't know what it was. He never bothered to learn to read the sheet music. He always just played exactly note for note whatever the person standing next to him was playing. Whether it didn't matter what instrument it was,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was they played, he could echo it on time, every time, perfect beat, march all the routines. I do believe the boy with special needs now, looking back at it. Didn't matter back then.
Mm-hmm.
He filled a uniform and could tote the saxophone and make noise. Now, if you've ever wondered what a trombone part sounds like on a tenor saxophone, just walk next to him in a parade one day. I'm going, oh, please, God, don't put him back with the drum corps.
That would be interesting.
You mentioned French horn. A little bit of trivia for you. David McCallum, man from Uncle, NCIS, played the English horn. And he also had one album that he recorded with him playing the English horn. And yes, I do own it.
The thing about French horn is you really didn't need the keys that often. It was all in the embouchure. It was seriously.
Yeah, but didn't you have to be like wherever the rest of the band was playing?
Well, yeah.
Okay, that fell flat.
You can make it work.
You said it was in the whatever, and I was
embouchure, yes,
at a
yes.
place. Never mind. When you have to explain the joke, it's not funny.
It's all in how you hold your mouth, honey.
That's what she said.
And why do you think I have such great tongue action after all these years? Anyway.
Hey, Rich. You know, Carl was a saxophone player. Need I say more?
I could see Carl rocking a saxophone, actually.
I would love to see Carl rocking the saxophone even now.
Oh, he hadn't played one in 30. Well, okay, not the instrument saxophone in 30 years, but he can still tongue.
Hey, Rich, was there any problems? Were there any problems with this one? Do you remember?
That one, at first, I didn't think there was, but on mine there is. But that could also just be something funky with just a void forming right here or something like that. So
okay.
But for the most part, otherwise, that one was originally I thought freaking perfect. I was a trombonist. I was only trained on how to give reach arounds.
Yeah. Have to dislocate your shoulder to get to that 7th position.
Unless you've got, gorilla arms like me.
Yeah. I've got really long arms, and I had to, basically shove the mouthpiece down my throat, and I know that just sounded so wrong.
Even in
I was saying it, I figured, I might as well just go with it. And
even in 7th grade, I was one of the few trombonists that if I put my arm all the way out like they say you need to do for 7th position. I am 3 inches past the end of the slide, and it's actually off, smacking the cornet players in the back of the head because they are elitist pricks.
I pissed off one of our clarinet players one year. We were doing what the hell's the name of the song? Norwegian Bell Carol. The da 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 da.
Carol of the Bells.
Carol of the
Carol of the
Bells.
Bells.
Yeah.
Would
I was
you
able
like
to.
an apple pie with that? Sorry.
Yeah. I was able to whistle it more in tune than the clarinets could play it. And the band teacher kept making them play it over and over, and like the rest of us are just sitting there, so I just started whistling it. And I hear the band teacher go, "Well, one of you are getting it right," and she went one by one. None of them were getting it right, and finally Renee goes, "Well, probably Bachman behind us. I keep hearing him whistle it." So she looks at me, she's like, "Whistle it real quick." So I whistle it out. She's like, "Do what he just did."
There was such contention between the 7th grade band cornet players and trombonists that the saxophone players were put in front of us instead.
Ooh.
So we would stop smacking the cornet player in the back of the head with our slides. Because it got to the point where we were doing it intentionally.
No.
But they actually tried to get my sister to drop band and join the football team because she's a very muscular girl from growing up on a farm, and she's actually tougher than most of the football players. And she goes, no, but I will play the I will carry the bass drum. How about that? So here's my sister walking around busting in drum hits on a bass drum. They finally put her on glockenspiel. I guess they figured it was made out of metal. She can't tear it up.
Maybe.
Little did they know. Never issue a farm girl that kind of challenge. Oh, she could probably dent an anvil. I know she can pick one up and tote it. I'd have to have a block and tackle for that. Now, my sister's a tough girl. Just don't give her anything with artificial flavoring in it. She'll die.
I haven't had much caffeine today, which is unlike me. I'm wanting to get at least one of. I'm trying to get one of each of these printed off real quick, just to make sure that the STLs are good, so I can do a printing spree tomorrow.
Oh. Joe, you remember Dawn's frequent joke about the bottled water that she keeps under her desk?
Mm-hmm.
You should get a special label to put on your bottled water that has her name on it.
I could 3D print her name on 3D print her name out and just glue it to this big half-gallon bottle I have.
And of course, the joke will go flat now that, unlike the bottled water, will go flat now that I've said it out loud on air, so she will watch it sooner or later.
She'll watch it after.
But we're not talking about, going in the back door of a taco place or cherry hardwood, so maybe she won't see it right away.
Oh, I did order the cast iron stove for my barbecue grill area.
Nice.
The cooktop on it is 20 inches by 24 inches, and it's about 28 inches tall. So I'm going to have to put it on some concrete blocks, raise it up to where it's at the same height as one of the charcoal grills that I use. That is not a piece of crap. And I will be able to get rid of the dollar store charcoal grill that only lasts about 8 months before it rusts completely through.
Hmm.
But
So we're looking at 24 real inches or 24 guy inches, which would be like 5.
let's just say it's not Canadian.
Okay.
I will have to get some stovepipe and run an exhaust up, over, and up again.
Yes,
Which means
Rich, Dan is going to be laying pipe.
No, I won't be laying pipe. I will be
He's going to be
assembling.
placing. He's going to be placing pipe until things are exhausted.
He's going to be erecting pipe. Good night, Carl.
Good night, girl.
Oh, Witzman dude, I happen to know you didn't get up until 6 a.m. today.
Hell, I didn't go to bed till 8 a.m. Well, I slept a lot before I went to bed, but let's just say I woke up in the chair at 8 a.m. and then went to bed.
Oh, I'm going to behave. I'm not 12. I'm not 12. Yes, I am, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
Write it down, save it for tomorrow. Oh, Carl woke up at 3, 4, and 6:30.
But getting up at 6 a.m., morning wood. I'm lucky if I get it by 9. All right, I am 12. There's a special place in hell for me, and apparently it's a junior high locker room.
Well, I told Lindsay that I ordered the stove, and she goes, "That's for outside, right?" And I go, "I am not putting a coal burning stove in the house, even though it's in my ancestry. Did that once in the trailer.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Oh Lord, I even had to make the take a piece of roofing, metal roofing, and make a pass through for the stovepipe to go outside, so that I didn't have to cut a hole in the trailer, which would have been a fire hazard. But 2 by 4 foot square piece of sheet metal in the window, that was not a fire hazard.
Piece
so
of
I could
sheet
do that.
metal.
Piece of sheet, yeah. Well, it was cheap, but it was pretty good metal. Not as good as Black Sabbath, in my opinion.
Nice.
But no, she was reassured that I didn't intend to set it up in the kitchen. Go, here's your new stove, honey. Coal will be delivered Monday. Oh Lord.
I don't even do gas stoves, much less coal.
Well, I've already discovered that if I trim all the overhanging branches off of the oak trees around the yard that have inconveniently placed limbs, I probably shouldn't have to buy any firewood for this thing for about 5 or 6 years.
Oh,
Nice.
crap. You
Hey,
want firewood? I can give you firewood.
There's benefits to living out in the middle of the country. There are places on the family farm that used to be forested until Daddy and I got out there with chainsaws and cut it all up or cut it all down and cut it all up and hauled it off to the next county to sell at exorbitant prices to university professors. There was one guy that Dad swore he didn't care if the man offered to pay in gold from then on rather than money. We got out there, started unloading stuff. Not only would he not come out to help, he sent his wife out to help us. That pissed Daddy off. That is not gentlemanly. Especially not somebody raised in the Smoky Mountains. No, that's not the done deal. That's not good behavior. So that guy, I don't care who he was. I mean, the lady was real nice. We made her go back in, and she was struggling with the even the lighter bits of cordwood. And we made her go back in. Daddy and I did it all. I could tell he was fuming. I didn't say another word the rest of the night. And it was an especially large amount of firewood. Put it in 1967 GMC pickup, just a regular size pickup truck. And we had to be careful driving it down the road because there was so much piled in the back. The front wheels were just barely touching the ground to steer with. I'm surprised the cops didn't pull us over. They were probably afraid Dad to hit the brakes and they'd have to buy a new police car. Or he'd have to buy him a new police car, but I had. That's the first and last time I ever wanted to see my daddy furious about anything.
I need to get another wireless set of headphones.
They come in handy, except when you want to go down the hall, and you have friends who are smartasses.
Better than friends who are dumbasses.
Yeah.
Friends who are smartasses make you laugh. Friends who are dumbasses get you bail.
Make you cry.
And just because the smartasses think it's a challenge to make you laugh while you're down the hall.
What part of infernal punishment did I not understand?
Then you managed to have
Foxy! I started to say something real. That would have been a mistake right there, especially with Lisa sitting here. Yes, and you're not in that particular Venn diagram, Foxy. I'll have you know. It's either one or the other. You choose.
No, that's where I say that.
Well, you know the difference between a friend and a good friend, right?
Yeah.
Good friend helps you bury the body.
One's going to bail you out. The other's in the back of the police car with you.
Saying, boy, that was fun.
A friend will help you move. A best friend will help you move a body.
Now, see, I wasn't going to bring anything like that up because this is recorded, and I don't want anything like that known.
No words like premeditated being thrown around.
Plus, this is research for our next books.
Right. Sure.
Oh, believe me, I've already been characters in somebody else's books. Go ahead. Just don't make me a bad guy. I really hate being a bad guy.
I don't do research for my books anywhere that it can be found. The how-to books that I have cannot be connected with me. They were all bought with cash. And if I do whatever's in them, you're not going to find those books in my library.
Mm.
Or any indication that they had ever been there.
I was told that there are quite a few reference books in mine and Lindsay's combined Jack the Ripper research material that are exactly what cops look for when they're trying to figure out whether or not someone is a serial killer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the homicide detective of Vermilion County tell me that when he saw the books above my computer one time. He's like, those are the exact books we look for in a suspect's house. Yep, John, and you're not going to be able to prove I ever had those if I did something.
Well, and the thing is that some of Lindsay's are actually autographed by the authors, not by Jack the Ripper, no.
That you know of.
But no, they were written 100 years too late for that. But
That you know of.
that I know of, yes. And there are a few of the ones that are considered the standard reference material for anybody that dives into the Autumn of Terror and related crimes of the Victorian era. And we're on a first name basis with these people. She actually line edited one. Didn't get credit, got paid, but he didn't mention her.
I think it was Writer's Digest who put out a series of books, and I have them all. Weaponry, poisons. There's 5 or 6 different how-to books. Supposedly for the writer, because I said there was
7 or 9. I was actually looking for them last night on thrift books.
I don't remember how many. I got them all. I know that much. But yeah, from Writer's Digest, the magazine for writers, which I used to believe in, I don't believe in anymore. Too many recycled articles. I'm like, you wrote about this 9 months ago. They're good if you're just starting, to help give you ideas, but like I say, same article every 9 to 12 months, written by a different person, but basically saying the same thing.
Yep. File off the serial numbers, change the names, put a different cover on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what keeps about 4 little old ladies employed who write romance novels. Basically the bodice ripper type.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere near as good as Michaela's books. But they just turn out the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Well, that's because with like Harlequin, if you sign on with them, they say, okay, here's your formula. You follow this to the letter or we don't publish it.
Yeah. Change the historical era, the costumes, the time period.
Make him a duke instead of a count.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over and over again, or Civil War soldier instead of a British cavalryman. And yeah, one of my friends used to write some of the he called it gun porn. It was some of the post-apocalyptic after the fall of civilization, ragtag team of explorers wandering around the irradiated wasteland, and it's like you get to a point where they're talking about their guns, and I'm going, I remember this out of the catalog, and it's exactly the same words. It's just okay. And you get paid for this? And he goes, yeah, as long as I turn out one every 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I mean, he was selling stuff under like 5 different house names and made a good living at it. I'm sorry, Richie, we didn't quite catch that.
I muted myself, not through the machine, through just mouthing the words really, really hard. So, Joe, I uninstalled the old version of SketchUp, or sorry, technically the new version of SketchUp, installed the old version of SketchUp, exported it, did everything, reconverted.
It works.
No. But you know what? It's the complete opposite side that's having the issue now. So if I take my old model and my new model and overlay them, I'll probably get a full working model.
That sounds so horribly inconvenient.
Which one did you try and print?
This is the light tank. It's not printed. Like, you know what? Nope, I take that back.
Is it?
It's
so the one
the
first one I printed tonight.
Yeah. So yeah, it's still this part. I thought it was the other side.
Try the STL file that I
on these fuckers.
So I've been uploading the repaired STL files to that Google Drive.
All right, awesome. I'm afraid to look at the glitchers. I really am.
I don't blame you. Anything
I've got one more to go before I get to that.
Is a glitch is got to be rather Lovecraftian in its level of horrifyingness.
Although, if it's a glitch for Nick, would that cancel out and would work perfectly? I will laugh if that's like the one file that like has no issues whatsoever besides the actual regular BSR.
It only stands to logic that that's how it would work.
I'm not willing to take that chance. As like when I'm sitting back here and I'm surfing the web, and my wife comes and goes, "We've got no internet," and I'm going, "We, Kimosabe?
What's this we stuff, paleface?
I've got perfect internet. You are having problems with the Wi-Fi."
Oh, Lord, that thing's huge.
That's what she said.
What she said.
That down to 1 inch.
And that's what she said again.
It's cold out.
Remember, gentlemen, we are in the Arctic. So, Ben, does Lindsay watch Murdoch Mysteries?
She has.
I just recently rediscovered it on Ovation, and they play like 8 episodes all through the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was kind of steampunky because of all the really cool inventions that Murdoch does. But I didn't realize how almost every show has a historical figure in it.
Oh.
Yeah. Murdoch now has a house that was built by Wright. Not Wright. The weird guy.
Frank Lloyd Wright?
Yes, Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
They met the Harley brothers. They've Freud and Young were on one episode. That was fun because evidently those two guys hated each other. But uh, oh, makeup gal. So many people. And Florence Nightingale
Yeah.
was there, and it's interesting how they've taken all these historical people and meshed it in.
Yeah. There was an episode of Castle that um, Thomas from Brute Force Studios loaned them some of his steampunk props for a steampunk
And Aphelion
episode.
was wearing his steampunk arm that is Thomas's Featherstone character.
And that arm later sold for about $4,000. And having met Thomas at several conventions, he is one of the nicest guys you would ever want to run into. I mean, if you're one of his friends, he will give you the shirt off his back. If you're a total stranger, he will. If you are hungry, he will buy you food and bring it to you. Just, I mean, he's great. He's absolutely great. Thomas Williford, Brute Force Studios. There's a commercial for you. Didn't even have to play anything. And he's up in y'all's
Recommended by
area.
two of the panelists on tonight's show.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, he's a really great guy.
Oh, good morning, Mike Jimmy.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were going on that late. Hey, we've still got another hour to kill, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Joe Dog is cycled down to an hour doesn't mean that we have to. It's only 5 a.m. Yeah, on your side of the pond, it's only 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 11 a.m. local for me and 10 a.m. local for Rich and Joe and Aunt Donna, and
PM?
probably
PM?
PM. Yeah.
Yep, I don't want that. I want this.
10 for us and 9 for Thesis.
Yep. I forgot whether it was 3 hours or 4 hours the time difference to Utah.
We basically are just 1 hour after each other. What we need is somebody on the coast.
Well, two Lindsay's kids are in New Mexico, so I should be used to that. Matter of fact, if I pulled up the world clock on my iPad, I've got it set to where I can see UK time, East Coast time, New Mexico time, and Australia time, because I've got friends in Australia too. Matter of fact, Aphelion's Flash Poetry and Archives editor, all in one person, lives on, I want to say, the west coast of Australia, and one of our writers lives on the east coast of Australia.
I feel so bad for your archives guy if he's got to go through and redo the archives for everything on the international site.
I broached that subject today in basically the messenger channel we use for staff meetings. I said, look, ain't no need to get it done in a hurry. And I'm kind of going, well, really? He can probably just do a global search and replace.
He might be able to.
Yeah, he's got more skill at it than I do, which, kind of pains me to say since it's Excel. but I'm jealous. I am really jealous of his skills.
That is excellent, Mike Jimmy.
Oh wow! I gotta put that one up.
Yeah.
Life on Corey number
Yay.
7 is done. The colorist is finished by what he's been told. That is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Me either.
I think I bought the digital edition this time. I don't remember.
I have been buying the print.
I don't remember what I got.
Just because I've got to leave a legacy for my children.
But Mike Jimmy, the thing that we discussed a little bit ago, we'll probably be ready to start making payments on that come mid to late November.
Mm.
Now he's got to check if they actually did everything right still.
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't had him started anything yet. So
No, he's talking about his colorist.
He's the colorist.
Speaking of books, though, Rich.
Welcome to my world, Mike Jimmy. When you're the editor-in-chief, you've got to check everybody's work. Even if it's work you don't understand the code for.
what did you say, Don?
I said, speaking of books, when are you going to have an announcement?
Oh, deer in headlights. I like that look.
Oh!
I hear my mother calling.
That Ouija board must get awful loud.
Don't need a Ouija board. Actually, if I dick around too much longer, my mom will probably find a way to smack me in the back of the head from across the grave.
I keep expecting mine to find a way to smack me in the back of the head from across the county. Ooh.
If there's someone that can find a way to smack you in the back of the head and call you a dumbass from the other side of the veil, it will be my mother.
I love how he's skirting the issue here that I asked.
Well, that was the point, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, have you ever thought about running for politics?
I believe
So I
in
think we
all
should have
of our
free lunches
cases.
in school for all of our children. Still a few things I need to do. I need to work on a couple of internal nonfiction pieces to go into it, and then hopefully probably within the next month or so.
Yay.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Mike.
Do you even have your first cup of coffee brewed yet, Mike?
Of course I do.
There you go.
The computer doesn't start until after the coffee pot.
Exactly.
Besides, do you think he'd come in here and face this bunch of
Reprobates.
without his caffeine?
Oh no, I totally would. That's hilarious. But being able to keep up helps.
You are a brave man.
Oh man.
So I need to get with my beta reader to see if she's decided which book I'm putting out this next time.
Let's see. I'm gonna close.
I was gonna say, I know Carl said you had quite the backlog of books. How many are you down to now?
About. You mean the series or just the stories?
How many unpublished works do you have? Is what he means.
20 to 30, maybe.
I'm gonna hop. There's a baby crying.
Mhm.
Yep.
I-
Yeah, Mike.
Grandpa ears heard that.
yeah, I have only. I just finished a fanfic, which I don't know if I'm ever going to publish that or not, but that's the only thing I've worked on in the last 3 years because I have so many books that
Well,
can go out.
I am looking for stuff for the November issue of Aphelion. This is already working on something, which he hopes to have ready on by that deadline. Which I told him, "Hey, get it to me before the first Sunday in November. I'll put it up." Um,
Oh,
the same offer holds to everybody else here. If you got a day that you're not absolutely completely chock-a-block scheduled up, this will be the 300th issue of Aphelion. And
I
I
do
would,
have one sci-fi short story.
that would be wonderful. That
The
would be
other, the other I call sci-fi fantasy. Think of
I don't,
B5 with leprechauns. Now
I
that
don't,
might be what goes out in November.
well, um, whichever you're willing to part with the first electronic publishing rights, as long as you realize that you will retain all the other rights whatsoever. I can't help that Aphelion uses up first electronic publication rights. That's just the way they write the rules.
That's no big deal.
But we have, and if you say, I don't want this in the archives, it won't go. I will delete it. It'll only be there for that issue. No one will ever be able to read it again without using the Wayback Machine, which is a fun tool.
Yes, it is.
There,
Oh, I just realized why I'm hearing music. I've got YouTube up on the other screen so I can monitor the print, and I've got it turned up just enough to where it doesn't shut off the live if I go away from that tab.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I hearing music? Oh yeah, so I don't have to turn around and look at my printer every so often.
I'm addicted to Dan's music. That's what it is. I keep telling you, if you play it in the car, I'm not paying your speeding tickets. All right, especially the first two albums.
And this is why I just play it on live streams.
I mean, I don't know why, but every one of those songs is either 160 or 180 beats per minute.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in traffic, you just naturally want to put your foot to the floor. I was lucky that when I was proof testing my homemade CDs before I sent them off to Bandcamp or whatever, I did not get pulled over. Somewhere in Georgia, there's a state patrol officer going, I don't know what kind of car that was, but I won't buy that album.
Poor Foxy.
And it actually didn't take me that long to get all the tracks put together. The longest part was remembering which track I added, because Audacity, as you add more stuff, it keeps kind of like shrinking down the view.
I know. Yes, I'm
So I
familiar
kept
with
having to zoom
Audacity.
back in on the track so I could remember which one I actually just drug into it. So I could announce which, album, track, and title it was.
I have gone through I don't know how many post-it notes trying to keep stuff in order that I'm going, oh, I'll only ever need to know this right now. So it doesn't have to be permanent, and then I can throw it away. But I actually did throw away the Post-it notes, but I couldn't. Without that, I would not even know what order some of the tracks were destined to be in. And good Lord, you should see me trying to come up with an album title. There's a word processor file somewhere just full of things that I didn't use, and I'm going, oh, I can't throw this away. I might need it one day. What am I going to call the 14th album?
You're doing better. I unless I have a title in mind when I start writing the story, I have a really hard time putting titles on my story. They are in my thing by the main character's name.
Yeah, that's a good working method. Yeah.
And then I have two stories that the character is the same. So one story is called Connie, and the other one's called Connie the Con.
Hey,
I know which one I'm looking at.
So let me ask you this, Dan.
Yeah.
Magnanimous opium?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to so screw that one up so many times.
just let Dawn say it instead of you, then you don't have to worry about screwing it up.
Yeah, she can screw it up for you.
There you go.
It's just a pun on Magnus Opum, but Jim made that up, and we go, okay, we're keeping that. Write that one down. There was one recording session where I'm sitting there going, wait, I got to turn on the tape recorder. We're about to start. And he goes, oh, yeah, we're recording these really valuable gems. And I just look over at him. I go, well, I think you're really valuable, Jim. He picks up somebody's drumsticks and throws them at me.
Kind of deserved that one.
Well, yeah, but what part of college punsters did you not understand?
What do you mean, college?
Well, he was still in college. I was working at the time. That's the only reason I was able to buy my musical instruments. He got a degree in computer science and geology. 2 degrees the dude graduated with. He was working for an oil company counting microscopic undersea critters, skeletons, diatoms, and things, so that they could figure out where to drill the next oil well.
Look how many Stephanie has.
Oh yeah, I mean seriously, when people choose to apply themselves, it's amazing what they can do.
Then there's me.
Well, I mean, look at me. I'm dyslexic and dyscalculia, and what do I do for fun? I write Excel spreadsheets. If that ain't irony throwing a brick at me, I don't know what is.
Okay, so I have this wonderful PA who lets me tell her what's wrong with me. And about a year ago, she's like, okay, what's wrong with you? What are you having problems with? And I said, well, I've been seeing this thing about insulin, not sensitivity. Resistance, yes, thank you. It's insulin, and I wasn't sure I believed in it until my friend Stephanie was diagnosed with it. And she's like, well, why does that make a difference? I said, well, because she's a rocket scientist. And Heather kind of looked at me and I said, yeah, she's a real rocket scientist. She's worked for NASA. She's got all these degrees and stuff. And if she believes in it, I got to believe it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, so you think you have it? And I said, no, I don't. But those symptoms led me to looking up insulin resistance, which made me look up this and this. And I just need some vitamin D and magnesium. And she's like, okay, well, let's do some blood work in case we have to do that script size, or you can just do OTC. And I was right. And she's like, I love it when my patients are like you.
And then you have the reverse of that, which is like my brother-in-law who goes into the doctor and just flat out tells them I have this and this and this and this and this, but he's an asshole about it. So they're always like, shut up. You're not a doctor. Shut up.
Or my mother-in-law who goes to, okay, yes, he was a cancer doctor, but he was a blood specialist. She had anemia, which led her to telling everybody that she had leukemia. No, she did not hear it wrong. This woman used to be a nurse. She was just a hypochondriac. And she got more sympathy from leukemia than anemia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she made the mistake of having me take her to a doctor's appointment one time, and that's how I found out. And I went home and told Carl, I'm like, she's anemic. She doesn't have leukemia. Yeah. He wasn't surprised.
Well, I have been amazed at the number of things that Lindsay has diagnosed herself with. And she was a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going, well, you should know. And then I'm looking back and I'm going, no, wait, no. Honey, that's a migraine. That's not cancer. The dog jumping up and putting her paws on your chest is not going to give you breast cancer. Bruises maybe, but
It definitely bruises.
Especially when it's a 180-pound dog. Damn dog's taller than she is when it stands up.
Oh, my bestie April was a nurse. In fact, that's how we met. She was helping take care of my mom at the nursing home. And when she goes into her doctor, she's already done her research, including viewing YouTube things of the surgery she needs. And so she goes in and says, this is wrong right here, when she had to have surgery on her thumb. And she told them exactly what they had to do. And the doctor looks at her, new doctor, because of course, they got to go to specialists. And he looks at her and goes, used to be a nurse, didn't you? And she was right. They had to do the exact surgery that she told them they were going to have to do.
Right after the motorcycle wreck, I had to go to the doctor the company had decided was the official doctor.
Mm-hmm.
In order to use the insurance that I had been paying on for 20 years at that point in time. And he's going, oh, well, no, we don't have to do anything to your knee that, you got a tibia plateau fracture. But we really got to do all kinds of surgery on your wrist. And I'm going, I think I'll get a second opinion if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to argue me out of going to get a second opinion. I go, no. I've read the contract. I am required to get a second opinion before any surgery. This is in the contract at work that pays you through my insurance. And I turned to my friend after we'd gotten out of earshot of the doctor and I said, "Get me the hell out of here." Went to another doctor. He goes, "Nope, we need to put a couple of screws in your knee to let it fuse back together without you having problems in the future. But all you've got is a couple of tendons that'll reattach to the bones there in your wrist. Surgery just make that a lifetime problem." And I'm going, "Thank you, Jesus." I finally got somebody that knows what he's talking about. Come to find out later, same doctor treated my little brother when he had a workplace injury and dropped a huge chunk of metal on his hand, and treated my dad when he turned on the sprinklers in the garden and tripped over some bean vines trying to come out and messed up his ankle. And next time I went back for a checkup, he goes, "What is it with you Hollifield men?
There's a
They don't make windows easy to leap out of these days, Doc."
There is a standing rule in our family, and has been forever, to not go to the local ER in Danville. To go over to Champaign, 30 miles away, to go to that ER. My mother slipped and fell on some ice, hurt her elbow, decided it was okay to go to the Danville ER. They took the x-rays. "You'll have to come back tomorrow. We don't have anybody to read them." Gave her pain pills and sent her home. So my sister-in-law took her the next day. Doctor says, "Nothing wrong with your elbow, but you've got a hairline fracture of your wrist. We'll put a cast on that." And sitting there waiting, and my mom's like, "This doesn't feel right." So my sister-in-law says, "Okay, we'll take you over to Champaign." They got the x-rays that Danville took them to Champaign. Doctor looks at him and says, "Nothing wrong with your wrist, but you've got a piece of bone the size of a quarter out of your elbow. We're going to have to take that out before we can fix the elbow."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like, when I had my fainting spells here last, and I made the mistake of going to the Danville. Well, had to call the ambulance. Being on Medicare, that's not going to pay to go over to Champaign. Have to go here. Doctor did not come within a foot of me. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's an ear infection. And I appreciate she did the heart thing and everything. I'm old. I understand that. Gave me pills for the dizziness, which were wonderful. I took the pill and in like 2 minutes, I wasn't dizzy anymore. Did my follow-up with my PA. She had a student in with her, and she's like, "Do you mind if she takes a look in your ear instead of me?" And I'm like, no problem. The student looks in my ear and goes, "Oh yeah, you've got an ear infection. It's just bright red down in there."
Duh.
Yeah, so like, remind me of this the next time something happens, and I even think about calling the ambulance. We'll get April over here. She'll know how to get me around.
Mm.
And we'll go to a real emergency room.
Well, I'm getting kind of tired of folks that are telling me I am morbidly obese at 5'11" and 190 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, excuse me, I used to be a walking skeleton. Uh,
There's
I,
people that have no idea what the hell the word morbidly obese means.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
And there was one impromptu healthcare day we had at work where it seemed like the people that showed up were instructed to tell everybody they were morbidly obese. We had one guy who's like 6 foot even and about 135 pounds. And he walked in there, they opened their mouth, and he says, "If you tell me I'm morbidly obese, I'm going to punch you so hard." I mean, he looked like a walking scarecrow, but that was just his body type.
Mhm. I have a friend who she's joined a nutrition study. They have this specific meal that they have to eat once a day and then follow rules. She's probably the size of Thesis. They told her she was obese. And I'm looking at this going, I mean, yeah, she's 60 plus years old. She's got the flap in the arms and everything.
Mhm.
But this woman walks 5 miles a day
Hmm.
besides the rest of her exercise routine. This woman is not obese.
We had guys fail at NDOT when we did our yearly physicals to get cheaper, save a little bit on the health insurance, that were in extremely great physical shape. I mean, muscular, barely any fat on them, but their BMI, because of how broad their shoulders and chest were,
Mm-hmm.
put them into that category.
Mm. And Foxy, you're fun sized. See, the expert has agreed with me.
We're not
Yes,
talking about
Richie,
our
but
fun
you
size,
don't know how
Rich.
much fun it is peeling off the wrapper, which Thesis does, and I don't. Uh, I'm just the smartass that thought of it first. Uh,
uh,
no, I mean seriously. If it weren't for the beer gut, I probably would still be around 150, 160 pounds. But and my wife's cooking. God, you should have tasted the fish and chips tonight. My God, that was so awesome. Um,
150. I don't think I've seen 150 since like what, the fifth grade.
well, I made it out of high school at 125, and I was already my full height. So, beanpole walking around, and then got to working at the factory, uh, walking basically 5 to 10 miles every day,
Mm-hmm.
4 to 7 days a week, and working on the farm with my dad. I mean, good grief, you try lifting um hay bales and throwing them 5 feet over your head onto a truck, and you can
I did that.
do a bit of weightlifting there. Um, but I finally, last time I weighed myself at work, it was consistently 190 pounds with a hard hat and $5 worth of quarters in my pocket,
Mm-hmm.
and the steel toe shoes and everything else. But yeah, I mean, seriously, if I when Lindsay and I first got together, I had not been taking care of myself. My second wife had passed away about a year earlier. I was not eating almost anything. I was not eating, um, and basically, she just took one look at me and go, "You are a walking skeleton." I'm going, "Yes." Um, I have no interest in keeping myself alive for the last year. All I did was sit at the computer, write a book, uh, drink beer, sleep occasionally, sometimes in a bed, and that was it for a whole year. Um, and then she got a hold of me and, ooh, don't let anybody tell you British cooking is not filling. Those folks
Oh,
know how to eat.
mm-hmm. I've had several doctors upon hearing that one, my birth mother did not have any prenatal care. Two, she bound herself so that no one would know that she was pregnant. Tell me that I was probably also starved in the womb, and if I got under 200 pounds, that my body would start to feed on itself. And I'm like, I can work with that.
Hey, and you're fun size too.
Yeah, I'm just fun.
Oh. Now there are pictures that I probably should look for on the internet and do away with because if people saw them now, um, probably someone would call a health professional to recommend that I be force fed cheeseburgers on a constant basis. But no, I grew out of that. Uh, I think I'm in
You usually do.
fairly good. I think I'm in fairly good for somebody rapidly approaching 70. Well, not that rapidly, but
Watch it. I'm older than you.
I'm starting to notice the blue shift. Uh, uh, Objects in the rearview mirror are not as close as they appear anymore.
uh,
Of course, I did have one experience that made me think something really, really weird was up. We were at a Christmas party for work, and there was one of the supervisors was looking around the room for me, not 6 feet away from me. And because I was not in my work clothes, he couldn't identify me
mm-hmm.
because I didn't have the hard hat, the safety glasses, and I was dressed up. I cleaned up well, and he just looking around, and I'm standing there going, dude, I'm right in front of you. I could reach out and touch you.
You should have.
And no, what I did was I'm just standing there. I'm looking at him, and he's looking around the room like he can't identify me out of the crowd of people that he works with every day. And I go, all right, I'm visible now. You can see me. And he looks straight at me. He goes, where the fuck did you come from? I'm going, I gotta stop reading those Lamont Cranston books. Evidently, for one night, I had the power to cloud men's minds.
I've always had that
Unintentionally.
power.
Oh no, honey, you have the power to mess with men's minds. It's totally different power. Um, there's a whole lot more drooling involved with your power. Wipe your chin, sweetie. But it was so weird. I mean, I'm standing right there, and it's like I was totally invisible to him until I thought, okay, you can see me now. Boom. No, I mean, I do not want to believe that I was actually invisible till I said I wasn't, but that was the actual effect. So
Yeah.
kind of
So
spooky.
basically, you managed to finally throw yourself at the earth and miss.
Oh,
Same
fuck.
kind, same kind of principle.
Yeah. Um, However, I'm not practicing that. It hurts too damn much.
Especially at this age.
I mean, really, if I
I
throw
love
myself at the ground, I expect to hit. Uh,
I love how when Joe's straightforward, the yellow on his thing on his earphones disappears, and he's looked like he's got no ears and a funny bit
a
of
funny hat.
on.
That's the blurring effect instead of using green screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I do believe the blurring is adjustable. There's a sliding scale where you can blur it up and down. Uh, yeah. And in the green screen, the
Same thing.
yellow
The yellow's gone.
headphones
Mhm.
disappear.
Well, if I actually set up my green screen, oh no, I think they would still disappear. But so if I turn my head a certain way, the actual microphone will disappear too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was a StreamYard upgrade that we didn't get told about. But after a certain point, you didn't actually need the physical green screen. It would just the camera would focus on you, and anything that wasn't you would be digitally green screened. I don't have the curtain drawn. I haven't had to use that for months.
Mhm. Now, using an actual green screen, you still get better results generally.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But you
it
have to
doesn't.
have much brighter lights.
Yeah, which I do have. I'm too lazy to keep setting up and taking down the green screen now that the cats come down here occasionally.
I keep getting drunk, falling down, and pulling the curtains down. So my problem is, I got to replace one curtain rod I broke. Thank God I get them at the dollar store. They're garbage, but I love them.
Rich, you look like you're about ready to kick a puppy.
No. Nick's computer, maybe, but not a puppy.
Well, don't take it out on his computer. I got him a decent computer. It's the Nick Field.
Yeah.
Oh, this is evil. I fully admit this is evil.
Go ahead then.
Knievel?
Joe,
Uh-oh.
have Trey start working with a copper-colored yarn, making something that looks like fishnet, and then tell Nick she's knitting him a Faraday cage to wear.
She'll do
no.
I know
She'll do it.
I know she'll do it.
And she would probably figure out how to weave copper into the actual yarn.
Well, no, and the worst thing is, even if it didn't have actual metal in it, knowing that it's Trey, Nick would believe it until he actually tried to put it on.
Well, see, most people who do computer repairs, they got those nice little mats and the little wristband that you hook up to the mat to ground yourself. I keep threatening that I'm going to get Nick one of those. He's going to place the little strap around his ankle so when he's sitting at his desk, he can just be grounded and see if that works. I think I just broke Rich.
I'm going, no. The real trick to that is you make sure that the cable on the ankle strap is long enough to go outside, and you're out there pounding in a grounding rod about 10 feet deep. And go, okay, you got to wear this at all times, so you're going to fuck up every computer that you get.
I was just thinking of like the copper infused underwear and stuff like that.
Like these fake copper infused fingerless gloves that they sell at the dollar store.
Mhm.
The only reason I wear them is when my wife was really, really worried about how much money we paid on the heating bill. The furnace would be turned way down low, and I'd be sitting back here shivering to death in the wintertime with a space heater under the chair blowing hot air on my feet, and it's still my fingers would be so cold I couldn't type. And I'm going, wait a minute. I'm the one pays the electric bill. If I want to be warm, I'm going to be warm. And that was it. That was it. Just stop trying to save money on the electric bill. It is what it is. I don't care what it is. We can run the air conditioner all day in the summer. We don't have to turn it off during the peak billing times if we don't want to, because what is the use of turning off the air conditioner at 3 p.m. if it's 180 degrees outside?
Yeah, because even when the peak billing is done, you're going to spend just as much in energy trying to cool the house back down.
Really? Uh-huh. Or the opposite in the winter, trying to turn the heat off during the peak hours so that you're not paying an extra 2 cents a minute or whatever it is. I'm just going, no. I'm too damn old to live uncomfortably.
Mm-hmm.
And I will live a lot longer if I'm comfortable.
When we lived on the farm, there was stove in the kitchen, stove in the living room. That was it. My bedroom was on the east side of the house, which was 2 rooms away from either one of them. We had bales of hay around the foundation to help keep the heat in. After we left the farm and went up to Rossville, that place had a furnace with a thermostat. And that was about when they were going, oh, you need to have your thermostat at 67s. You know, my mom's like, it's going to be at 72. Because we are going to be warm for at least one frickin' winter.
I keep the house at 70 in the summer and 72 in the winter.
I start getting chilly whenever the temperature gets below 85.
I was going to say, I keep the AC at like 78, and it actually gets chilly in here.
Yeah.
Got something to do with having a stucco house.
See, upstairs it's comfortable at 70 in the summer. If I turn it down any lower, I'm going to be able to hang meat from the ceiling down here and probably see Rocky Balboa down here practicing for his next match.
That's not what we mean by pounding your meat, Rocky. Put it away.
You get Michaela bringing you fresh deer carcasses to hang in the basement.
Pretty much.
And
there's been times I've come downstairs here and went, damn, this is actually chilly for me.
Now, second and third floor have the furnace and the AC. First floor used to be on a boiler till it died. And wasn't about to spend. Well, the boiler itself would have been $10,000, and they would have had to put in new piping, and yet, we don't have that kind of money. So we bought one of those heat transfer things. But we have a big house. It only cools or heats the west side of the house on the first floor. On the east side, there's no place to put one because there's no wall space unless we took down a bookcase in the library, and not about to do that.
Hmm.
It's almost all windows over there. You can feel the difference if you walk from the dining room over the stairs into the foyer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that doorway there is a real barrier between the cool and the hot, or the heat and the cold.
That's like me when I come down here, because especially with all the 3D printing I've been doing, I don't trust bread not to screw with the 3D printer while it's going. And even when I'm not printing stuff, I'm going to have to keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't try and go after the filament that's strung down.
Mm-hmm.
But when I come downstairs, I'll open the door to the basement, and when I walk down to that first landing, it's got to be at least 5 to 10 degrees hotter on that landing than it is upstairs. And then as I go down the stairs in the basement, I'm about 10 degrees lower than what I was upstairs.
All the heat from the printer rises and collects on the landing.
No, that landing, even before I got the printer, was hotter than hell.
Mm.
And it's on the far side of the basement. It's on the complete opposite side of where I'm at.
Well, we've got a brick house and fairly new roof on it, but always in the summertime it'll be cool outside, and the ceiling is throwing heat down from the heated air in what passes for an attic in this little bitty thing. But it's brick walls, so it's not radiating outwards any. It's just, and we've got an attic fan that we rarely use. I used to use it all the time instead of having air conditioning. Window units. I just turn the attic fan on, blow all the hot air out of the roof. It'd be fine. I mean, have all the windows open, screens up, no bugs coming in or anything. But Lindsay didn't like that system. And it has a lot to do with how much humidity there is in this part of Georgia. Because there may not be a swamp nearby, but it feels like you live in the middle of a swamp. It's wet. She was coming back from a trip to New Mexico to visit with her youngest daughter, and she said she knew immediately when she crossed the border from Alabama to Georgia, because she straightens her hair. Well, on the bus, her hair unstraightened when she got to Georgia. The humidity. She's going, okay, yeah. I'm home. All I need to do now is see the water tower, and I know I'm home. Yeah.
You were talking about bread in your printer. Carl's printer in his office is on the top shelf, which means it's above my head. So it's at a good 6 foot up there. All his stuff around it. I walk in there and there's Himoni laying on his printer asleep. And I'm like, how did he get up there? And Carl says, I have no idea, because there was nothing disturbed on the rest of the desk.
You will believe a cat can fly.
I know that Siamese can jump 7 foot from a standing start. So Saying other cats can probably do the same.
Am I wrong in thinking that Siamese cats were trained to be personal bodyguards at one time in China?
That sounds familiar.
Siam,
yeah, well,
yeah. You know how the Siamese got the kink in their tails, don't you?
I can guess, but let's hear the real explanation.
When the first Siamese belonged to a princess, and when she would take her bath, she would put her rings on his tail so that he'd keep track of her rings, and then his kink his tail over so that they wouldn't fall off. And because of that, his tail became kinked, and therefore all the rest of the Siamese tails were kinked. Now, modern day Siamese, you don't see that kink so more. In fact, Siamese used to be known for being cross-eyed, and they've bred that out of them too.
Mm. I think that story belongs in a book of mythology somewhere. It should be recorded for historical reasons. And according to my memory, and it's only my memory, I don't have any physical resources to back it up, and I'm not going to Google this, because if I Google Siamese bodyguard cats, I'm sure to get a few images that I do not want to see and do not want on my computer in search history. But no, they had a habit of sitting on someone's shoulder, and if the person they loved was being attacked, they would leap to defend their owner. And it's probably something I picked up from some fairy tale somewhere, because I did read a lot of world mythology when I was in my younger years. But oh, Joe, no, I do not want to see a Siamese CIA agent here.
Oh.
That was the first thing that came up when I typed in Siamese bodyguard cat.
Okay. According to Hill's Pet Nutrition, which Hill's is a brand of pet food, Siamese cats were not only valued to the king for their exquisite beauty, but they were also used as guard cats. Siamese would be perched on tall columns around the king. There you go.
Okay, so I only half imagined it.
Yeah, around the throne, and if anybody threatened the king, the cats would jump down from the pillars onto the individual. Does not surprise me any.
A cat jumping on somebody does not surprise me at all.
They were also used to guard Buddhist temples.
The only thing scarier than an angry cat is probably a pissed off chihuahua. Hey, a pirate cat.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Well, technically it's a lady pirate cat, but I do believe they left the other nipples uncovered. So. That's the weird thing about people that do images of pets as sexy people. They keep going, wait. You got to have the bikini keep going to cover up all of the.
Well, I've seen pictures of cats with like 6 bikini tops on.
Yeah, I mean that's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go over well in anime, but it's accurate.
But those are cats that have had kittens. If they hadn't had kittens, then their nipples don't show up as much because the fur covers them.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Now,
If I had to see this one, so do you. Kangaroo guard.
Oh my.
That's not the worst thing I've seen online. So,
no, I do believe I have seen
I've
lots
seen
of
worse.
things online. I really wish I hadn't. And the CIA wishes that I hadn't, because they had to look at it too. Thank you, Richard Nixon, for convincing me I needed to write you a letter.
I completely can.
Okay, we're like 4 minutes out. Everybody plug everything pluggable for your work. Oh, Foxy, you have no idea. Sometimes I think that's half. I think sometimes it's half the viewership, and they're going, "Oh, we need to get somebody infiltrated into the green room so we can find out what that's about."
That's only because they have a betting pool going on as to what rabbit hole we're gonna, wander down this time.
Well, there's no telling. There's no telling. That's why I love you people. I have no idea what any of you are going to say at any given time. And what's more, I like it.
I think you have a pretty good reason what I want to say to you.
Could be a unicorn hole. I mean, if you're going with what Joe's printing or Joe Doug's printing.
That's one way of putting it.
That boy ain't right.
But as far as plugging stuff goes, you can find all of us on indiecd.org.
Yes, indeed.
And buy Dan's music this Friday so he gets all the money.
yes.
Your one-stop shopping center. You can get everything any of us have done and then demand more. We like when people demand more.
Don't forget to give out the link to Bandcamp tomorrow, Dan, so we can all share it.
If I can figure out how to do that.
It's called copy and paste.
It's called logging in. That's the problem.
If nothing else, well, actually, the easiest way would just be share your Indie CD profile, because each album's already in there.
Yep. And no, I do not want to do that. Sorry. Click the wrong direction here.
Long leather, Frank.
Well, it's time to say goodnight, Gracie.
Yes, indeed.
Good night, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Toodles, folks.
See you later.
Good night.
Hasta la papa. Later, folks. Sorry if I was snoring.
You
One of
asked us
these
to
days I'll actually learn how to use this damn computer, and then the whole world will go, why the fuck did we let her have one?
Transmission overload. System will shut down.
Woohoo!
System will shut down. System will shut down.